Hi everyone. I hope you all are good. We are here for grade math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 4 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter data and graphs. The lessons we're going to cover today are interpret line plots, frequency charts, stem and leaf plots. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I'm on the chapter data and graphs. Let's just start with the plots. A craft store asks some people how many scarves they own. How many people have more than one scarf? More than one means any number that is greater than one. So more than one, we have two and three here. So we need to count the cross in the more than one. There one, two, three, four, five. So more than one mean five of them. Five of the people have more than one scarves. The correct option is. Let's just start with the test questions. How three, five people? More than one is two and three. Again, the same question. Just see and tell me which is the correct option. More than one, we have two and three, right? So just count the number of scarves. They are five. The correct option is five. Got it? Okay, the next one is students in Mrs. Jane's class guessed a number between 1 and 5 and recorded the results. How many students are there in all? You need to calculate all the students. So how many students are there in all? So just count all these cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. The correct option is 22. Option number 2 is the correct option. Professor Leonard looked at the scores from the last quiz. How many students scored fewer than 6? More fewer than 6. So fewer than 6 we have only one number, that is 5, right? So count the cross that are in front of 5. So which is the correct option? That is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. A tennis fan counted the number of matches won by his favorite players last summer. How many players won at least 2 matches last summer? At least 2 means the minimum number would be 2 and the greater number would be any. So which is the correct option? At least 2 means the minimum number would be 2, the greater number would be any, right? So you need to count those x in front of 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 it is. Option number 2 is the correct option. Rosa kept track of the scores on her favorite radio quiz show. How many people scored 4? So which is the correct option? Score 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 it is. The correct option is 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. Leo figured out the scores at the end of a card game. Which score did the greatest number of people receive? So, which is the correct option? The greatest number of people. That is 8. 8 is the number that scored more peoples. The correct option is 8. At a school carnival, people spun a wheel numbered from 1 to 6. Which number was spun the fewest times? That is 6. The fewest time it is 6. Some students compared how many times they went to the park last week. How many students went to the park more than 2 times? So more than 2 we have 3. That is 0. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is, let's start with the next lesson. A theme park developer recorded the number of people who visited the local water market last summer. How many people went to the water park fewer than two times? Fewer than two times. Fewer than two is only one. So one is 11. The correct. Let's just start with the test questions. A theme park developer recorded the number of people who visited the local park last Sunday. How many people went to the park fewer than two times? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 11. Okay, the soccer coach is preparing for upcoming season by seeing how many goals in team members scored last season. How many team members scored more than two goals last season? More than two means 3, 4, and 5. So, which is the correct option? More than two, you need to add the frequency of 3, 4, and 5. 25 and 429, it is the correct option is 29. That is 29. Option number 2 is the correct option. Sregs records the number of pairs of sandal owned by each of his classmates. How many students own at least three pair of sandals? At least three. That is 29. Option number one is the correct option. A researcher asked people how many letters they had written in the past year and recorded the results. How many people wrote exactly six letters? Exactly six letters. So the letters written exactly six, eight people wrote exactly six letters. The correct option is eight. A game show program recorded the scores at of its contestant. Which score did the fewest people receive? Fewest score is 7. Option number 2 is the correct option. The elementary school art teacher wrote down how many flowers pots each child painted last week. How many children are there in all? You need to calculate all the children's. So which is the correct option? Mm, You need to add all these children's. 24. I think 75 it is. The correct option is 75. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. A theme park developer recorded the no, we need to move to the next lesson. Mm, and leaf plots. Kate counted the number of silver beads on each bracelet at Fairview Jewelry, the store where she works. How many bracelets had fewer than 20 silver beads? Fewer than 20. Basically, you need to join stem and leaf to make one number, right? So 11, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For less than bit, the next one make 21. 21 is not less than 20, right? So 21 is 7. So how many bracelets had fewer than 20 silver beads? 7 it is. The correct option is 7. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Cat counted the number of silver beads on each bracelet at Fairview Jewelry's The store where she works, how many bracelets had fewer than 20 silver beads? So, which is the correct option? 7 of the people had fewer than 20 silver beads. A volunteer for the local running club counted the number of participants at each race. Which is the smallest? What is the smallest number of participant? The smallest number is the smallest stem and the smallest leaf, that is 32. The correct option is 32 participants. Professor Ruth released the results of yesterday pop quiz. How many students scored at least 64 points but fewer than 76 points? At least 64 but fewer than 76. 76. One at least, like that means 64 and 76. One and two, only two, 69 and 62, because 63 is not in the counting, that is only two. What happened? Okay. Cat had the number of, again, question number one, why? That is seven. 32 participants because I remember the answers. And two it is. Cotton to the number of desks in each classroom at his school. How many classrooms have at least 36 desks? At least 36. So at most it would be any. Only one. Because greater than 30 we have only one number, 40 it is. Option number 2 is the correct option. Jason counted the number of words per page in his new book. What is the largest number of words? That is 90 words. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 4 math. The chapter we were working on is data and graphs. The lessons we interpret line plots, frequency charts, and stem and leaf plots. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. No questions. If you have any questions, you can please write them down in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.